Shannon from School Corridor here. And yes, hopefully the internet is working tonight. I don't know what is going on with my internet. And then, of course, I've got my son here, Brett. That's the eldest one. Crazier than the mother. But yes, so here we are. I'm glad if you're coming to join now. And remember, our topic is one of those fascinating topics because we're going to speak about how do you win your learners over. Okay, so tonight is not about how bad the learners are or that the learners are traumatized. We know the learners are traumatized. We know situation is not so good at this. I'm eating some chocolate. Yeah, that things are systemically not right. But tonight I want us to share with the community, what are you doing to make the learners love you? Why are the learners so excited to come to your class? And how do you get them to engage in your lessons? So that is what the session is about. It's about learner behavior and it's about discipline. And I'd like you to share, give people tips. So give people some ideas on how the, ideas or tips, like I said, that people can implement in their classrooms. And hopefully when the session ends, then everybody can say, yes, at least, okay, let me try again. Because we are in the business of teaching, and teaching is really about building relationships. It's really about helping other people to grow. So we're serving in a very important field. We're here to serve, and it's not easy to serve as a teacher nowadays, but there are a lot of teachers succeeding despite all the obstacles that we have at the school and even in the society. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So my role is basically just to say, that's a good point. I like that. I wonder who's going to pick up on that point. I'm not really supposed to be talking too much about discipline. Okay, so let me just see who joined us because I was like on time tonight and the internet is still running. Okay, Juanita's here. Hi, Juanita. Lovely to have you here, all the way from Delta. And of course, Gilo. Gilo, I don't know if I mentioned to you guys, and I'll mention it again, Gilo. Gilo's my colleague, and she heads up the SLES department at our district, and that is Metro South. So hopefully, Gilo, you'll also be able to share some ideas on learner behavior and how teachers can build their resilience and the discipline toolkit to help them cope in the classroom. Okay, that's the whole idea. So, Chilo and Juanita, are you going to start the conversation? And Lamise joined. Thanks, Lamise. Lovely to have you here always. And then Lamise, I'm hoping you're going to share some ideas on what can we do in the classroom to make, just to ensure that children feel safe, and that they can actually see that we care about them. They can relax in the class because a stressed learner can't learn. Okay, we know that. I think it is common knowledge that in living in South Africa, 90%, if not 100% of us are traumatized. Okay, so we're exposed to different forms of violence all the time. And I'm not talking about physical violence only. I'm talking about verbal violence, mental violence, emotional violence. We are always trampled on as people in the society. Now, our children are sitting in the class and they already come from the violent environment in which they live. That's the physical environment, also the emotional violent environment they're living in. So their safety is already threatened, right? And so their brains are permanently in survival mode, in flight mode. And I think we understand that as teachers, and if we don't fully understand that, we're going to have to help ourselves grasp that. Because when the kids come to the class, then they need to be made to feel safe and comfortable, and they mustn't be exposed to any form of violence in the class. I'm talking about emotional or verbal violence or abuse in the class. Okay, and that includes all kinds of things: the way we talk, our tone, the way we look at our kids, the way we receive them when they come to class. All those are forms. It can be forms of violence, or it can be forms of empathy, or forms of affection that we're showing the learners. So tonight, I want to know, how are you as a teacher coping in your class, and how are you helping those kids to feel less vulnerable, to feel less, you know, exposed to all the hard things in life, and making them feel so relaxed that they can actually learn their work. Just hold for me. Sorry for this. You can't close the door because the door's going to bang all the time, and then I'm going to struggle to have a conversation.
I'll close it.
No, sorry for that. It's a personal interruption. So let's see who else joined us. Tsunami is here. Thank you, Tsunami. Lovely to have you here, my cousin from afar. It's pronounced Tsunami. Tsunami. Okay, Tsunami. Sorry, Tsunami. And then Brenna's here, and of course, Andre Lamprecht is here. Thanks, Andre, for joining. Guys, now you're supposed to give some ideas, you know. And I don't want to, the frame of reference is for us to share ideas. Okay, thanks. That was that very deliberate from my eldest son, Brett. So we still kiss. All my kids, they still kiss us, and we're very sort of touchy-feely kind of family. Okay, so let me get off my family. And then Chilo, yes, Chilo, I just acknowledged you earlier to say that you are the head of our SLES team and doing an amazing job there, and helping schools to cope when they really struggle with, with individual learners. And just prior to greeting you now, Sheila, I said, tonight's frame of reference is sharing ideas, guys. Tell us what you are doing to make the children settle down so that you can teach, because you're already working with an overloaded curriculum. You already, you've told everybody in different ways and on so many different platforms that the curriculum is really loaded and you can't get through it. So if you have a class that is disruptive or a class that is not settled in, you can't really do much. So then, of course, on the other end of the continuum, we have teachers who are doing amazing work at the schools. They're getting the children to settle down, and they're getting the work done. I want to know, how are you doing that? And how can we share those ideas with our colleagues so that our colleagues can try that in their classes, okay? Right. Hi, Marie. Lovely to have you here again. Okay, nobody's... This is the time when you need to have a, like a face, I suppose a face meeting, but you can sort of type up your ideas there, okay? Perhaps I should just throw in at this point that, when we talk about learner behavior or discipline, we tend to just gravitate towards the one interpretation of discipline, and that is the punitive discipline that we often refer to, right? But discipline, when we're talking about discipline, we're basically talking about how do you get people to understand that there are rules or, terms of reference to say how we need to act towards each other, and what would be acceptable behavior when we are communicating with others. So that broadly is what discipline is. And so, of course, yes, you have three types of discipline. You have preventive discipline, when you will put in place strategies and structures to prevent learner behavior from getting out of hand. So you will build in certain strategies, certain ways of relating to the learner so that they don't get to the point where you just want to punish them, okay, when you want to do the punitive discipline only. And the third form of discipline is the preventive one, and then of course I've lost the other one now. The preventive one, the punitive one, and the corrective one. Okay, so I think most of us tend to only apply the punitive discipline measures at the school, and we only tend to apply the corrective measures to a large extent. But what about the preventive discipline? What about the positive discipline? You know, do you have as your code of conduct? Do you have in your code of conduct how you reward the kids, how you show them that when they're contributing to a healthy school environment, what do they get out of it besides the annual prize giving? Okay, what reward structure do you have at the school? What incentives do you have at the school? And what incentives do you have in your classroom? That is what I want to hear about tonight. Okay, let me see. Sinami says, I find it having an informal chat with my colleagues about the class before they hand them over to me in the new year. However, I know that they behave very differently with her compared with me. However, she often knows so much about their home life, and that helps much. Okay, and then I get stationery donations and keep it available for my class to use with basic rules in place to encourage them to take care of other people's belongings. I realize many of them are stressed because they don't have their stationery places. Thank you, Sinami. Sinami gave quite a few hints there, and I think that's important, Sinami. And I wonder how many of you are doing that, in terms of when you get a class from one teacher, do you guys discuss not only Sharon is the naughty one and her parent is the most irritating mother that you can find on earth, do you also give, a good picture, a fair picture of the learners in the class, and not only highlight the children who were problem cases in your class? And then do you also share, like Sinami says, do you share their home, a little bit about their home background, just a profile, so that the teacher who's receiving the learners can actually have a head start and then understand why Sharon is performing, or why Sharon is so moody in the class, or why Sharon is reluctant to participate. Okay, so that's nice. And then, of course, the stationery donations, lovely, Sinami. So you actually have stationery available for the learners because you understand that they probably can't, their parents didn't buy or can't afford to buy, and so you don't want them to feel even more embarrassed. I like that. Okay, and then, of course, Delisha, say hi, Delisha. And Bryn, hi Bryn, lovely to have you here. Bryn is also my colleague. Bryn, I need you guys to share some ideas. If I think back when I started teaching, I can tell you this. In terms of, I used to go, I think, more the punitive route, where you just want to highlight all the negatives and punish the kids. But I think that was because I was young and insecure as a teacher. And so the best way to deal with your own insecurities is to take out your own fears about not being in control, and then overreacting to the children. And often when we overreact, the children, they also overreact. So you have an explosive situation in the class. So over time, I learned to be, to take more responsibility as a person and realize that I needed to be myself. And yes, I think I was relatively strict as a teacher, because the kids were, terrified of coming to my class. I don't know if it's my eye size or whatever, but they knew that I was very consistent in terms of rules. But I had lots of fun. If some of my ex-students come on here, they'll tell you we had lots of fun, but there were rules and that we had to follow so that we could get our work done and we could respect each other. But I would laugh as loudly as I laugh sometimes here on our live stream. Okay, so give me some ideas. Gosh, I don't see any ideas coming through, guys. Give us examples of how you reward the kids. If the kids do well, what do you do in your class? Okay, to make the children feel special and to motivate them and just to inspire them to do, just to work harder. What do you do? What kind of rewards are you currently giving the learners? Besides certificates, what are you doing out there? I know you guys are very creative. Okay, so share that with us. I don't want to tell you what I did, because what I did, I think, is now obsolete, archaic, because teachers are doing such amazing stuff. Okay, anything else? Lynn Brown is also here. Hi Lynn, thanks for joining. And then I'm just double checking. Good gracious. Everybody just saying hi, Sharon, and that's the end of the conversation. Um, I want to know, the topic is, what are you doing to make the children settle in your class, feel comfortable, feel loved, feel cared for? And because when they feel like that, obviously then they are working. Okay? So share those tips with us, those strategies. What are you doing in your class? And how is it working for you? Okay? Because I think it's important for us to share. I think sometimes we can become so despondent when when children misbehave, that we start talking in hyperboles, we start exaggerating and saying all the children are rude. And I can tell you from our just from my engagement with the schools have fantastic kids. When we had our World Teachers Day celebration, I received a video from a grade 11 girl at Mondale High School, and her teacher must have given my email to her. And she sent me a video, and they just they had so many affirmations and so much acknowledgement and so much praise for one of the teachers, because this young lady who's now in grade 11, she said everybody gave up on them, and that is at the school that others regard as being problem free. But I'm just saying that this girl, her video was about all the learners in the class, and they were just saying how the teacher just cared for them, respected them, understood them, um, essentially saying, I see you, I hear you, understand you. But she struck that good relationship with him, and so they felt more worthy. Okay, so I'm sure you're doing likewise in your classes. So I want you to share that with us tonight. Okay, it's only somebody who gave us. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Anthony says, "Hi Sharon, very relevant topic. I'm excited to hear some." Me too, Anthony. I'm waiting here for some ideas. Learn hi. I did say hi, and then Tanya's here as well. Just share some things, you're forcing me to think up ideas here now. I'm just, I'm I'm of the view that the kids, yes, we have naughty kids, and that I understand, but I will not buy the story that the whole class or a whole school can be so disruptive that all the children are they unmanly, they are rude, they're disrespectful. I cannot accept that, because that will reflect on the teachers at the school. Children are very sensitive. When we talk down to them, what are they going to do? They can't. Yes, they can backchat, but what are they going to do besides just backchatting? They're going to rebel in your class. They're going to show you they're not going to do the work. They're going to disrupt your session. They are going to give you bad looks. They are going to do strange things because you have shamed them. You've made them feel small, and so they want to get back at teachers. Okay, so if the whole school culture is that the school is out of control, then I'm saying then the teachers are responsible. You can't have a whole school falling apart at the seams because of discipline. It is not, it is possible, but it is not only the kids then, and it's not the parents. It's definitely the teachers who are not working on a system or structures at the school that can help the children regulate their behavior. Okay, so let's hear what you have to say. Okay, this Etienne is here. Hi, Etienne. Walter joined us. Wow, oh my ridiculous, lovely. Fadia's here. Thanks, Fadia. Ursula's here, and Tarantine is here. Oh my ridiculous, I love that. Now I'm waiting for the ideas. Okay, I can't share my ideas because this topic is about what are you doing currently. Okay, how are you getting the children to enjoy their learning? And all of you are here. You can tell me what you're doing, okay? What is so special about your classroom or your school? I think I shared while I'm waiting for you to comment. My niece won't come on here because she's always complaining about the data. But I interviewed her. So if you go to the YouTube channel, then you'll see I interviewed Kristen. And Kristen teaches at the school in Lavender Hill, which is one of our, hot spots. And she struggled, and I may have shared the story with you. She struggled at the beginning. I think she struggled the first year or so of her teaching. And now she's more in control. In fact, I'm very impressed with her, because I used to tell her, you must toughen your skin. You're going to have to grow calluses on your skin, in terms of stop being so sensitive to the point of personalizing all these things. You're going to have to take control. And I can say now, when I speak to her, she shares the things that she's doing in the class, all the fun stuff that she's doing in the class. And if you want to hear what she had to say, you can check out that video if you have time. Okay? Cinemy is talking again. Every day we practice mindfulness techniques that I learned at trauma workshop here. So I lead my class in breathing techniques. That's lovely, Cinemy. So breathing techniques, is that something, Chilo, that schools, that will help schools? Because Cinemy is just speaking about a trauma workshop, teaching children how to breathe. Or we color in mandalas while listening to meditation type music. It is a great method. Okay, that's a lovely idea. So perhaps you can try that idea. And then Shelly's here. Hi, Shelly. Lovely to have you here. Always listening while I hang my laundry, says Shelly. And then Bryn. Knowing your learning is key to beginning a journey of learning. You must have a positive approach, encouraging language. Good. We must show our learners we care for them first before teaching out the curriculum. Yes. Ensuring that we are prepared for our lessons, which accommodate on all levels so that lessons are meaningful and fun. We need to not limit our learners to the deficits. Lovely. Thank you, Bryn. Bryn is one of our key learner support advisors. Bryn, I hope I'm right there. And Bryn is also one of the officials that you can call on in Metro South. And yes, I think caring always comes out tops, right? The other thing is, if you're not comfortable, and I know I keep on saying this on the live stream, if you are not comfortable about who you are, if you don't understand yourself, and you haven't come to terms with your own insecurities and with your own fears, you're going to start projecting those fears and insecurities on the children. Okay, and it's going to manifest in different ways. It's going to manifest when the children perhaps are ill-disciplined. You're going to do strange things because you haven't learned how to take control of your own emotions. And how do you act in a stressful situation like that? How do you control your emotions in a space like that? So you lose your cool and you just send the temperature sky high in the class. Okay, so if you look at the literature and just knowing, you'll find that if you don't have a high level of emotional intelligence, in other words, emotional intelligence it's essentially just understanding who you are, accepting your shortcomings, and accepting your strengths as well, knowing what triggers you, how you need to conduct yourself when you are in a stressful situation, when you feel you're losing control. So I think as teachers, it's very important that we understand who we are. We need to have that sense of vulnerability. And I know I keep on harping on that too, but when we speak about vulnerability, we're talking about it more in the sense as Brené Brown. If you have time, have a look at her videos. When she speaks about vulnerability, it's not about this mushy stuff that you're not in control and you need to show your feelings and just blurt out everything about yourself and share all those things. Vulnerability is more about recognizing when you when you're going to take risks, that you're fearful of something, that you're scared to try something new, that you're scared to show yourself, but you still push past that fear and you show some courage. You say, I am scared, I am still terrified, but if I want to be true to myself and my learners, all my family, all my friends, I'm just going to have to push through with this. Okay, in that sense, we need to be vulnerable. Okay, something that we all have to learn. Okay, anything else? It sounds like I'm going to have a big long chat here. Hi, Anthea Adriaanse Stradum, our principal of one of our schools in Grassy Park. I'll get to the name. Yes, at last, no choir practice tonight. Ursula says they know how to behave during exams, which means they have it within them to behave. Ursula, that's an important point. How can the kids, how can our children sit quietly like that for at least an hour? So they do have it. And so did we not find the exams? There's a certain routine in the exam room. And so the children understand that culture. Now, why don't we establish similar routines where children also, where they understand the culture and it's installed in them, and then they will also start acting like that. I like that. Hi, Naomi, my buddy, my best friend is here as well. Naomi, you must let me know what you think. And then Dawn, hi Dawn, thanks for joining. Anthony says, I feel that teacher positivity is paramount to positive learning behavior. Yes, learners may be very difficult at times, but we have to focus on the positive ones. We have to affirm, smile, encourage, self-help. Sometimes talk of the missing middle. Those learners are not top achievers. Okay, let me see if I can grab some stuff here. Affirmation is important. Affirmation is vital to God discipline. Yes, at our school we have an exciting start of the week ceremony. I like that. Start of the week ceremony. Flag bearers are identified to carry flags into the assembly. The principal has special awards hidden in the office. Lovely. Anthony, I like that, guys. I hope you checking out what Anthony has just shared with us there. Anthony's the principal of Swanswyk Academy. So Anthony's open to visits to his school. Anthony, listen to me now. He's open to visits to his school, and you can give him a shout. I promise you, he will take you on a tour, and the teachers are warm and they're willing to just engage with you. Okay. Discipline is our whole school approach, yes, with everyone having to pull in the same direction. Great. Hi, Brian. Brian is our safer schools coordinator or head at our district. One of the people I admire tremendously. And then Ashley says, great discussion, should workshop it is. Thank you, Ashley. Thanks for coming on tonight. Kichilo, we need to take a holistic approach when we deal with learner behavior. Yes, the learner behavior is only the tip of the iceberg. In order for us to assist, we need to know our learners, what is happening in their lives, are they experiencing any trauma or any other psychosocial issues. Educator needs to have a relationship with his or her learners. Yes, it is only when learners trust you. That is essential, that is key, that they will share their deepest emotions and problems. Therefore, we need to have an inclusive and restorative approach in dealing with behavior. Thanks. That is from my senior manager, Gilo McCure de Klerk. Thank you, Gilo. I'm just going to pick up on your point about trust. Learners must trust us, right? We must build that trust between ourselves and the learners, because once learners know they can trust you, then they are going to open up. And when I say open up, not only about their personal lives, but they're going to open up. They're going to be more receptive to your teaching, and they're going to be more receptive to learning. I think that is absolutely critical. And then, of course, we must have an inclusive and restorative approach. Yes, Gilo, you want to speak to that restorative approach principle? Restorative. What do we mean by restorative? Okay. Do we all understand the concept first, and then how does one apply that at the school? And it's definitely our whole school approach. I think Anthony underscored that point as well. Fadia says, yes, Fadia used to work in Saudi. The behavior of the kids, I think, globally is challenging. What I've learned is that planning preparation of your lessons. There's another tip, that we need to plan and prepare well. And then as an OT, I believe that we must distinguish between whether disruptiveness is behaviorally based or whether it is sensory based. Okay, fine, yeah, you're going to have to explain that to us. Behaviorally based, yes, we understand that, but sensory based. I like that. Fadia is an occupational therapist, and she is another person that you can tap into if you want to get some ideas. Okay, thanks for that. Yes, generally across the world, yes. You know, it's not only in South Africa where we're struggling with learner behavior. And so it is a universal issue, but we must bring it back home. We must say, okay, yes, we know it's out there, but we have these children in our care. We're the custodian of these kids. So what do we do to ensure that our classroom, one, is a healthy classroom with a healthy, caring environment, that it's it's a space where learners feel stimulated and interested and feel loved and cared for, so that they can become more engaged, and then in that way it will stimulate learning. Right? The research is very clear. A stressed child, a traumatized child, will struggle academically as well. And so we cannot introduce trauma via the structures we have in the classroom and trauma via the structures we have at our school, because already they're coming in with their trauma into our classrooms. So we need to find a way of creating an environment for them where they can flourish. Okay. Marie Coker says, I'm a very big person, Pearl. So Marie, I need to see you one day then. Maybe I'll also become terrified. I'm a very big person, so automatically learners are a bit wary of me. I, however, have quite the opposite nature, quiet, don't shout or threaten. That's very good. Don't shout or threaten. In my class, everyone gets treated the same. There are no favorites. My learners learn from the moment they step into my class. Respect demands respect. Okay, so there's fun in the class, and there's different lessons, and learners can record themselves. I like that. Been doing like oral at home where learners record themselves and then send their videos. Marie, you are the really our 21st century teacher. That is interesting. I wonder how many of you who are on here now have tried that. We kids can record their videos and then send that. That's very creative. And I'm sure the parents got involved in that as well. So you get parent involvement when you try to be more creative as well. Okay, lovely. I like that. Theola says be on time. Discipline starts with the teacher being on time at the line. Mr. DeWitt always says when you're on time, you are late. Okay. Mr. DeWitt, I think it is at your school starting the day, right? Yes. I think it's important, if teachers come late, I know, make a big issue of this, but if you have late coming at your school and the teachers are late for the class, the teacher has already disrupted the class. The teacher has already upset the rhythm in that class. Okay? And so punctuality, if it is a problem at the school, if teachers come late, then that is an issue that must be addressed before you even think of just generally asking teachers to make videos of the kids, letting them do the orals via the video media, right? You have to sort that out. Teachers must be at the class, ready to teach, ready to receive the learner. So thank you for just emphasizing that for us, Theola. Starting the day right in June, I decided I'm not screaming anymore. Okay, in June, we're now in November, so that you made quite a bit of progress. In June, I decided I'm not screaming anymore for the learners to line up and get ready to pray. I just make my presence known and walk by asking him softly to get ready to pray. The tone is set for the day. Clear instructions. Another good point. Clear instructions. Leonie, thanks, Leonie, for coming on board. And of course, my goodness me, Tim Makosandile, one of my senior managers from head office, one of the people that I admire. Thanks for coming on, Tim, first time. And then Kevin is here as well. Kevin, welcome. First time I see you here on School Corridor. And then he says, Sandili says, I hear you, my sister. Yes, thank you for that. Right, Theo, let's speaking to Gilo. And guys, you can cross. You need to start talking to each other, okay? I'm just trying to pick up some points. Consistency with the learners is key, says Shelley. I started my door and greet them as they enter the classroom. I'll wait at the door and greet the class before allowing them to be seated. I've made sacrifices on my break time and after school to instill discipline. Yes, that's good. And she says, those were proud moments to see my kids are still standing in their line. Consistency is key. Thank you, Shelley. As one of our young teachers, I think you've just found the magic bullet there that in terms of consistency, we need to be consistent, okay? We need to be consistent. I come from a high school background. I'm just thinking, and I'm sure if you should meet my students, they'll tell you this. My students could tell me when I was boring. They would open, with the lesson, there would be lessons that would be like totally, utterly boring. And they would say, Miss, you're being boring now. Is this the best you can do? And then I'll say, no, obviously this is not the best I can do, but this is not, at this point, this is how I'm doing it. There's no other way that I can do this, or I'll find another creative way of doing something tomorrow. But we had that kind of relationship as well, okay? But they understood, they knew the boundaries, and it's because I think I was fairly consistent as a teacher, so I never had discipline issues, really. I'm not saying I didn't have the naughty ones in my class, but I didn't. Generally, I was able to teach because I was in control. I was the teacher. I was being paid. I wanted to serve. And so it was my job to make sure that the learners got the work. And I had to find methods and ways and support to get me going. Okay, so my track record speaks to what we're talking tonight as well. Value-based education is important. It's essential, says Anthony. Yes, we have divided our school into 4 houses and named them after values. So we have house honesty, respect, perseverance. Are there 3 houses? Am I missing a house here, Anthony? House points are awarded and lost. I like that. And I was at Anthony's school and I took a lot of photos of the kids because I think it was on a Friday, Anthony, where the kids had on their T-shirts. And so the children live those values as well. And they get a physical demonstration of what honesty is and what perseverance is and so forth. And of course, like you said, there is the points that you deduct. They get awarded the points and points are deducted. So that is something schools can explore as well, and it's all about building this whole culture of family, of belonging, of really just connecting. Okay, Shelley and Fad. David Miller is on here tonight. Dave, thanks for coming online. I think this is the second time, but yes, Dave is our director of Metro North. A vibrant person, leader of note. Thanks for joining, David. So I'm sure you're going to give us some comments. And then, of course, Kevin says the concept of restorative justice. How do you suggest the school embrace it? Thank you, Kevin, for asking that. Gilo, please speak to Kevin there. We want to change the culture of the school as a goal. Gilo, if you got some comments and I'd like you to participate. Fadi speaks about the parents as the caregivers. They must get involved, yes. And then Najreen is here as well. Thanks, Najreen. Please share how the system works. Anthony, there, Kevin is calling on you. Kevin is the principal somewhere. Kevin, help me out here, either in Athlone, Lansdowne area, that side of the world. So, Kevin, I'm going to be bold enough to say you can phone Anthony Adams at Swansbeck Academy. And then you'll definitely assist. Gina's here too. Thanks, Gina. Hi, Chris. Thanks for joining. And then Gina says, good evening, ma'am. Okay, I like that. Good evening, Gina, ma'am. Right. Okay, so share some ideas. Yes, I like that. That you're willing to collaborate as well, like Kevin wanting to hear more from Anthony. Anything else? Come get us going, guys. I'm going to throw this question again. We're talking about behavior, how you win learners over, right? So the one, I think 2 people or more even mentioned that you must have it as a whole school approach. Now, when we say a whole school approach, it means that all teachers must understand what the school wants in terms of discipline. And then, of course, teachers can work on their own personalized forms of reward systems in their classes, but there will be a uniform approach across the school. Now, if you don't have a good, harmonious arrangement at your school, the culture, the children are running wild, the teachers are complaining, then I'm asking you as a teacher and as principals to look at that, because then I'm going to put this out there, then the problem is with the staff. Okay? It cannot only be the children. Then the teachers have given up the authority, and the teachers need to take back their power. The point is that I was making is that as soon as you create a power vacuum of, where there's no leader, as soon as that happens, children will take over that space. So if the teacher is not the authority in the class, and we're not talking about making your body larger, making your voice louder, and making googly eyes. No. If the teacher doesn't have that authority, doesn't assert him or herself in the class, guess what? A child, even a primary school child, is going to take advantage of that vacuum that you created there, and that child is going to step into that power position there. Okay? That is just a natural law. That if there's no leader, somebody's going to rise up and take over that space. And I think that is what sometimes happens, when we give our power away, when we don't act assertively, when we don't act with authority, then the children will take over that power. We gave them the reins, and so they're going to continue running with it. Okay, just something that I thought I'll throw in there. Thanks, Gina, for coming back. I just got cut off again. So yes, there were quite a few, people shared quite a few strategies. I think that is something that you have to look at. I think it's important that we, as teachers, if we want to try, we can't just try new ideas. Now, that's something that I just need to mention. You can try different ideas. But the first thing is you need to understand who you are, first of all, as a teacher. What do you want to do? And where are you going? And why does it matter that you want a disciplined classroom? The teacher must first have that understanding. So you need to understand clearly what, and very deeply, right? So you're going to have to do that introspection. Say, what do I really want in the class? What do I want to do with this group of learners? What is my purpose? What are the values that I want to share with them? If my values are values of caring, how is my behavior going to demonstrate that? How do I show, how will they see through physical signs that I care? By the way I treat their work, by the way I speak to them, by the way I relate to them, the way my classroom looks. What physical symbols will there be for the children to understand that I really care about them and that I respect them? Okay. Once you understand that, I think as teachers, once you understand that, then you can then find different ways of doing things. So let me use Anthony's example of the house system. Now, if you don't think about it first, why do we want the house system? Have we got the basics in place at our school? Are all teachers at school in the classroom on time? Right? If that is not in place, you can't put the house structure in place, because you must first see to the foundation. So we say, no, we must first get all the teachers in the classroom, and all the teachers must be teaching, and all the teachers must not be shouting at the learners. Okay. And then once that is sorted, okay, so how do you ensure that then you can introduce other things. Then you can introduce the house system and giving the children special rewards. You need to first see to the whole school discipline or behavior system and structure that you want at the school. I think that is what schools that have fewer problems have in place, because when teachers say, okay, I said I want to use Anthony's example, Anthony Adams of Swanswyk, the house system. Now tomorrow you go to your school, then you say, right, listen, that school is using the house system and it works amazingly there. So you just want to transplant that idea into your school, but you don't even have a proper foundation. So tomorrow you split the kids up into houses. You're very excited about it. Everybody's enthusiastic about it. You didn't work out what what the houses are going to represent. What are the rewards? What's going to be the I don't want to say punishment, but if things go wrong, when do you deduct points? You didn't work at the whole system. So you just introduce it. Tomorrow, month down the line, the whole system falls flat and you say, you see, we can't do it at our school because our school is a poor school and you can't do things here at the school. Okay? Now I'm just mentioning that again because that is often our mindsets that are. We need to work on our mindsets. We need to work on the way we perceive things, the way we see things. Okay? Because everything is possible. The danger of just transplanting an idea without discussing it, without really teasing it out, and without putting a system and a structure in place to understand what the roles are going to be, who's going to do what, how are we going to manage it, how are we going to sustain this program or this structure that we put here. If you and who is objecting to it, who's not going to do, who's going to break down, who's going to derail the system here from the staff, then if that conversation must take place first, right? Because teachers often undermine systems and structures because I think is that people don't buy into these structures and systems that the school has, but because nobody's really discussing it, okay? So sometimes we as teachers, we derail our own programs because we will break it down. Tomorrow we must check, all the learners must have this happen at my school. On first day, everybody wears, when the children come in on the first day of school, everybody must have an entire white shirts. And the children saw through this. They would wear their white shirts, their ties, their shoes would be shining, everything. And they knew that we would just sustain that for about a week or two. And then the teachers who had discipline issues in their class because there wasn't a proper classroom management system in place. After the 2 weeks, there's chaos again. Wherever there was chaos the year before, you will find chaos. Okay? And of course, that kind of thing has to be addressed. Okay, thanks for coming. We're just going to be for a while. Thank you, Ingrid. This is where strategic planning comes in, says Shelley, yes. The entire school, one of the persons can't decide on the discipline strategy for the entire school. It must be discussed. Yes. Shelley, I agree. It must be discussed. But yes, definitely it must be discussed and everybody must have input and the principal must hold teachers responsible if there's a breakdown in the discipline at the school. And we're not talking about the individual learners. If you say about 10% of your learners, that behavior is, you really need external support and even the external support sometimes gives up on the learners. But we cannot have a situation where the 90% of the learners are the problem learners. Then there's something wrong in the staff room and not in the classroom, okay? Because we do have that power to make a difference, okay? Thanks, Leonie, for joining. We're almost at the end. This is now the second part of that discussion because, of course, the internet went off. So apologies for that to the other guys who were with us. But I just want to end and say, that yes, we must continue sharing ideas so that people can take it into their staff rooms and discuss it there and say, okay, we hear this is what's happening at Swanswijk. We hear Shelley's doing that. I see Sinami does that. I wonder we can't call these teachers in to come have, to come and talk to the school, discuss with the staff. That's the other thing. You guys must invite each other out and say, I like what Shelley's saying. I wonder where Shelley teaches. Perhaps we can invite Shelley to come and share her methods or theola to the school. People are very open to sharing their ideas and telling you what the pitfalls are and telling you how to organize yourself and so forth. All right, Cameron, thanks for coming on. And Walter, you came back again. So just in closing, I just want to say that, learning behavior, we can do a lot. We really can do a lot to change or transform our learners. We must just first understand ourselves as teachers, what we are doing, how well prepared we are, as some of you said, how comfortable we are with ourselves as teachers, how how secure we are in who we are, in the knowledge we have, and the systems we have. And if we see the gaps, we must be bold enough to face those monsters and say, that is what is not going right in my class, because I see these patterns. Whenever I do something like this, then my children go crazy, right? And so once you can identify the problems, then you'll be able to fix it, right? So we can't act like ostriches and say that I just can't work with these kids. You're going to have to say, what is actually the problem in this classroom here? What am I not doing? And what could I possibly do? Because you have already cleared in your head why you are in the classroom, right? You want to serve the learners, you want to bring out the best in the learners, and how you are going to do it is the route that you're going to work out for yourself. Okay? And then of course you can call on the ideas given by other people. You made me talk far more tonight, guys, than I thought I was going to talk. Okay, thanks, Chris, for coming on, and Gilo, and then Shelly. Okay, with the different, what is, I hear you, Shannon, it starts with us, yeah, okay. So, guys, maybe, yes, we need to look at some, I don't know how one can do this, because this is the kind of conversation, you must give us some ideas, how do we get people to talk like this and share ideas, and how do we get whole staffs to sort of chip in so that people can hear what others are saying and learn from others, and because we learn from each other all the time. I'm totally blown away when I go to schools to see what is happening in the schools, and I come there, of course, unannounced. I'm just amazed at what is happening at schools, and it's not getting out there. Only the sad stories are getting out there, And the other thing that I said to a colleague one day, and this is probably going to be my last point, I said to somebody, I said, you know what? What if our children at school decide they're going to run their Facebook pages or their Instagram or their live streams, and they just spew negativity about the teachers? Because we often not asking the children what they want. What do they see? What can the school do differently? We leave the very group that we're talking about is the group that we leave out of the discussion. And primary school kids can give you a lot of information. They'll tell you what they like doing and how you can do things differently. Children are amazing. It's not only high school children. Primary school children will tell you how they want you to show that you believe in them. All they want us to do is believe in them. And once we believe in them, then their behavior will be, affected or transformed. They will start behaving differently. And I'm talking for the majority of the learners now. Okay? And so that was the intention tonight, that we share ideas on what do you do. And so I'm going to ask you to continue the chat offline as well, that if you have any ideas, put it there. If you're looking, to wanting to visit your colleagues or whatever, just put it in the space, because School Corridor is here where we can share with each other. Okay. So on that note, guys, thanks for sharing quite a few points. I think Shelley says how to talk about it is a huge issue. Some teachers feel it's their chance to complain, or waste the time complaining instead of listening to others. Yes, for sure. And Shelley, you're right. I think we just go into complain mode all the time. Everybody, and I think it's part of our culture, and it's something that we need to change. It's our mindset. We need to actually say, today is a fantastic day. I'm going to have an amazing day. I can't wait to see my learners tomorrow. Okay? And I'm sure the children will ask if you've gone mad, you've lost your head. You say, yes, I've actually lost my head because I didn't realize what amazing, phenomenal people you are. and the privilege I have to teach it, I tell you they're going to turn around and probably start thinking differently about you as well. Okay, so I think teachers must get out of the moan and groan mode and start talking about solutions. Okay, we have to be problem solvers. We have to make a difference. We actually in the business of making a difference. Thanks, Ursula, and then Portia. Thanks, Portia, for joining. So yes, yes, let's not drag it out more. I think you shared quite a few ideas, and Naka, I just invited you that, maybe I should just flight something and then people can continue to share ideas. But thanks for joining. Thanks for always coming and joining us here and having this lovely chat. I thoroughly enjoy it. I just sometimes wonder, why when I would just love, one of my dreams is just to have a massive virtual conference, and all of us can see all of us and we can chat and share ideas, because I think the space is non-threatening and people have so many ideas, and I think you've realized that here your ideas matter. We really I care about the ideas, I care about the sharing, and we can only help each other just become better human beings, and that is what I enjoy about it. Okay, so on that note, have a super week. I'm busy wrapping up almost at work as well. I'm thoroughly enjoying the part that I'm involved in at the moment, but I'm also looking forward to the end of the year. Okay, so people, remember, School Corridor is here to grow, inspire, and empower ourselves. Okay, so on Saturday, I'm meeting a couple of teachers like Theola. I think Theola, you probably should come in. I'm meeting about 5 different, I think, teachers from 5 different schools, and the whole idea is just for us to share how do we exploit media like this, like Facebook Live. How do we get our message out there? How do we serve by using the new media that you have? So I'm looking forward to Saturday. I'm going to send the guys who have confirmed. I said you must send me an email via the School Corridor email address. So those guys who have replied, I'm going to let you know we were meeting. And so we're going to have fun. And guess what? You're going to see the pictures right here on School Corridor. Yes, so finally, thank you for helping me grow as well. Have an awesome week. Cheerio.